Brainlord, released in North America in October of 1994 on the Super Nintendo. I honestly have no clue how we got this game in our house or why, but I remember it fondly. I consider it an uncommon title, as going to school and talking about it, none of the other kids had any clue what I was talking about. Your character is a fabled dragon warrior. Sounds a bit familiar, and it's your duty to find the last remaining dragon. Plot-wise, it's really that simple, but where the game shines for me is its gameplay. The game is a top-down action game, very much like The Legend of Zelda, with bits of RPG elements sprinkled in. I remember the game looking pretty decent, except your character doesn't look like he's wearing pants and instead has these weird-ass duck feet. Combat is simple, you get a weapon, shield, and a magic attack. The magic is controlled by holding down the attack button, and the length of time you'd have to hold the button depends on the complexity of the spell. The gameplay is really great, and on the surface, it doesn't really appear to be anything special. But a cool feature this game adds are these familiars you get that follow you around and assist you. They can throw fireballs, increase your attack power, and even heal you. It honestly kind of reminded me of a shmup game where you can add allies that fly around you. As a kid, I was drawn into the gameplay, since Link to the Past was one of my favorite games at the time, so any game that reminded me of Zelda got me super interested. But as you discover the game's loop, it starts to get very different. You'll go to towns and crawl through a big dungeon with multiple levels and different obstacles to overcome. Outside of slaying enemies, there are traps to avoid, and even platforming segments. The game throws you into situations where you'll need to have good reflexes when an enemy suddenly appears, to then having to be patient while trying to cross an area. But the big feature coincides with the idea of the name of the game: puzzles, using your brain. Moving boulders and giant balls, manipulating big red balls, trying to not get killed by these balls. It's like you're stuck in a nutsack trying to survive with all these balls banging around. The idea that I have to combine my combat skill with my brain power was pretty new to me in a video game, and the satisfaction of solving a puzzle and progressing was very addictive, and had its frustrating moments. The boss fights are pretty cool, and it wasn't too hard considering that if you had enough healing items on hand, you could pretty much endure the fights. But what I really remember the most is how awesome the soundtrack is. If it's an Enix game, then there's a great chance that music is going to be stellar.